Liv Moods is here. Liv Moods is here. And so, Liv, I got to tell you, Jason, you got to know this too. We were in Stanford. I was in Stanford yesterday, meeting with the BFA crew. Had a great time. Had dinner. We had drinks. Great time. I didn't partake in the drinks. I was driving, so I don't know what happened. I think everybody got back. The show's on the air, so I think everybody held it together. But in the midst of this great time, we were talking about people we respect and people we like, and your name came up, Liv, and they were like, yeah, Liv, she's a gambling expert. I said, what? Hold on.
That's Liv a big Moods? Word, expert. Woo.
I said, wait a minute, Liv Moods is a gambling expert? I knew she was my people, but whoa, wait a minute. How have we not talked about this? Liv, we haven't talked about this? This is your passion? This is your passion? Hey, listen,
yes, I love gambling.
Move aside Ashley Nicole Moss.
That's how I got in this space to begin with.
We're best friends. We're best friends.
That's how I got in this space to begin with, was sports betting. I had graduated at TCU, as you know, during the pandemic, and no sports were happening, but people were betting on Russian table tennis. So it was like the most random things. People were grasping at straws to try to keep sports in their life. And so it was kind of my only opportunity to do what I wanted to do as a sports host, broadcaster, content creator. So I jumped in head first, and here we are now, 3 years into it, and still loving it, and still betting, and still losing money and winning money. And it's, it's a great time.
So listen, just between us, between you, me, and Jason, what's up tonight? I mean, what, you got any tips for us? Like, what, give me like something I can, put a little something on, Yeah, make a little money.
Nothing for tonight, but I'll tell you, I feel really good about a Chargers cover this weekend against the Chiefs in a divisional spot. I think the Chiefs are a little underwhelming this year. I think they're still a great squad, but there's something about what the Chargers were doing against the Cowboys that was exciting to watch, and their defense looked like it stepped up. They were sacking the heck out of Dak Prescott, and I really, really like what I think they can do in a divisional spot. So I like the Chargers to cover. That's the one I know I like right now, so I'll give you that much.
All right, hold on, Jason, because Liv mentioned the Cowboys, and I want to get you both weighing in on this. Micah Parsons had his podcast, and Micah Parsons, essentially saying, hey, listen, y'all, you go ahead, you can be a critic, but I just want you to have some even distribution in your criticism. Here's Micah Parsons talking about what he sees as a double standard.
I just don't condone the bashing of Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys and have the same energy for the Eagles. We want the same energy for everybody, because there's a whole bunch of bashing when it's Dak Prescott, but not the same when it's the Eagles. So why is it that we are just scrubs and we're nobodies that don't deserve to be on the field and we're just all talk, but there's 100 excuses for these other teams? If y'all just gonna hate Cowboys Nation, just say y'all hate Cowboys Nation. I'm tired of people trashing my quarterback. I'm tired of people trashing my team, and that's why I had nothing to say to the media this week.
All right, so Micah Parsons, the prophet Micah, says, hey, that's not fair. The Eagles lost too. Eagles lost, and y'all ain't going at them like y'all went at us. And I see so many contradictions and so many loopholes in the argument, but Liv and Jason, I'll let y'all take it. What do you make of Micah Parsons and the criticism?
Take it away, Jason. I'll back you
Start
up.
with Liv. I'm going to say this, okay? The prophet Micah should definitely sit back and take a look at the book of Numbers. And the book of Numbers tells you that Dak's only got one significant playoff win, and that's by beating the Seattle Seahawks when Pete Carroll was being outcoached as per the usual with Russell Wilson, which always happens in the playoffs. Dak has massively underachieved. Dak is basically Kirk Cousins in a prettier uniform. Dak is pretty much the same as Derek Carr. Dak is pretty much the same as a whole slew of middle-class, low-interest rate mortgage quarterbacks that are in the NFL that happen to benefit from having great brands, but not a lot of product on the field. So of course you're going to take that kind of heat. Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback. He's MVP quality. He took his team to the Super Bowl last year. He's having a little bit of an offseason, but he's been great when it comes to fantasy football, and he's more of a leader. So I don't know why anybody would be confused as to why the Dallas Cowboys are taking this kind of heat. And let's not even get started about Jerry Jones and all the racist nonsense he said on a regular basis. They're lucky that we focus on the play on the field, because we talked about the people who actually ran that organization. They would take more heat than they can stomach.
Well, I'm not sure how to follow that one up. That was pretty eloquently stated. But
kind of tough.
no, I mean, I agree. And I think here's the issue is that wins matter. Obviously, every win matters. This is me speaking as a Broncos fan. Trust me, I know how bad they matter and how bad that they, the losses also matter. But the thing is about the Cowboys, we hear them running their mouths. We hear the fan bases running their mouths time and time again. But if you don't win when it matters, I don't really care. I think that there is so much to say about a quarterback that can be successful on a do or die, stage in a must-win situation. Pressure matters, not just pressure from a defense, but can you perform on the biggest stage possible? And Dak Prescott has yet to prove that. So, and I do understand the frustration of, hey, we got to have the same tone of voice about Dak Prescott that we do for other quarterbacks. I have mentioned this right on Brother from Another when we were talking about Josh Allen. Listen, I am not going to make excuses for Josh Allen turning over the ball if I don't make excuses for Dak Prescott. So I agree in that sense, but you're comparing apples to oranges here when you look at this Eagles team versus this Cowboys team. They've made it to the biggest stage. They've made it to a Super Bowl. They've won their division. They've won, their conference championship. So it's really, again, I don't think this is a good timed podcast either, considering they could not be competitive against the 49ers team at all. So it's like, yes, you did get a win. Dak Prescott had a good performance, but guess what? You were also playing the Chargers, who play zero pass defense. So I would hope that Dak Prescott had a good game, or that you got a dub, or that you won, in a primetime game. But again, against the 49ers, the best team right now in the NFL, you couldn't compete at all. It was an absolute curb stomp. So
you're always, and look, you're absolutely right. Liv and Jason, you're both right. And I'll say, it's nice that Micah Parsons is defending his quarterback. That's good. That's a good teammate. That's being a good teammate. But when you play for the Dallas Cowboys, there really is not going to be hey, why not do the same thing to them that you do to us? Well, that's kind of the gift and curse of being a member of the Dallas Cowboys. The standards are different. The scrutiny is different, not only in Texas, but around the country. There are Cowboys lovers. There are Cowboys haters. And the attention is going to be on you at all times. And you didn't just lose. You lost to the team that you have been looking forward to playing on a national stage, Sunday Night Football, 42-10. You lost 42-10 in a game. This was supposed to be your revenge. You're going to avenge your playoff loss, and it was worse. It was worse than the actual playoff loss.
Listen, if you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. If you want to be America's team, it's going to come with some extra, criticism. And if you can't handle that, then maybe the Detroit Lions should be America's team. Oops.
Well, they are. They're BFA's team.
That's what I think. Now, I agree.
Now, what I want to know from y'all, just real quick, I want to know from y'all, can the defense rest, by the way? Because this court case has been going on for a long time. Hey, the jury wants to go. We ready for a resolution. As a matter of fact, the jury has figured it out. It's unanimous. We got it. Your Honor, we got it. But can the Russell Wilson defenders, you Jason, you Liv, can y'all stop? After I'm talking about Russell Wilson, look at the numbers. Russ don't play defense. Then he went out and gave us 95 yards and 2 picks in an actual football game. It was horrible on a Thursday night, ruined everybody's long weekend. Thanks, Russ. Terrible. Can y'all stop? Are we done now?
No.
Is the case? We rest our case?
No.
Oh, we ain't done yet?
No.
We ain't done yet?
I am the Johnny Cochran in this situation here, okay? And if the shoe don't fit, okay, if the offense don't fit, if the defense don't work, you must acquit. Russell Wilson, I'm not saying he's the greatest ever. I'm never going to make that argument one way or another. But we have seen such ridiculously incompetent coaching on the part of Sean Payton. We have seen such terrible coaching on the part of Vance Joseph. I'm not holding any of those players accountable for the mess that we see at 1-5. Let's talk about culture first, because that's the first thing that Sean Payton was supposed to fix. He came in talking nonsense about everybody, spitting lines against Nat Hackett, spitting lines against Russell Wilson. That man came out of the media. He knew what he was saying. Does that team rally around him? Did anybody on that team say, hey, we got to win against the Jets because we don't want our coach Sean Payton to look bad? No, that offensive line was trash. No, the defense was bad as usual. Then what do we see? Vance Joseph lets people put up 70 on him. I thought they were playing against Kobe Bryant because I don't know anybody else who just puts up 70 like that. And Vance Joseph didn't get fired. No consequences. Then you got reports out there from the team that people are saying they don't like him. They're in the locker room. They're calling him Vic Fangio Part 2. Russell Wilson's numbers have been consistent. If you thought a 34-year-old quarterback was going to fill all the holes in your team, I got something else to tell you. You're not going to do that. The team's got Swiss cheese issues. But it starts at the top. It's rotted at the top. I'd fire Sean Payton to start over if I could, but ain't nobody going to do that because it's always easier to blame the quarterbacks, especially when they're black. Shout out to Justin Fields, who got the same kind of hell, and Trey Lance.
Yeah. I mean, listen, as a Broncos fan, I got to tell you, there are so many layers to what's going on here. And you mentioned starting at the top, and you mentioned Sean Payton. It actually goes further than that. Our front office has been a mess for years. And when they make a poor decision, it doesn't just affect that season. We've had front offices for the past 5 years, for the past decade, actually, since John Elway sold his soul for a Super Bowl, that have just been making poor decision after poor decision. And it's setting us back years and years and years. And this has been an ongoing issue. And here's what I'm going to tell you about Russell Wilson. People were still blaming Wilson when he was putting up excellent numbers in the first 5 games of the season. He has one bad game and everyone's like, Russ. It's been about Russ. We've been making it about Russell Wilson this whole season, and Russ hasn't even been the problem. And what I'm going to tell you is this is absolutely, without a doubt, a culture issue. When I see that only one unit on this Broncos team can be successful at one time on the field, there's clashing in the locker room. The practice, there is no chemistry. They are not gelling. And to me, that is a coaching problem. I think that Russell Wilson is an excellent quarterback, but he's the type of quarterback that you plug into an already successful system. The Broncos had so many wounds before Russ even got there that it's not really fair to say, well, why didn't you fix everything? Because he can't fix everything. There were so many problems before Russ even got there. Vance Joseph, to me, was the worst hire that the Broncos have already tried things with Vance Joseph. That's what people don't people are forgetting. We've already done this with Vance Joseph before. What made Sean Payton think or believe that that was going to be a good idea? I think anyone would have been better than Vance Joseph. So to me, Russell Wilson doesn't deserve scrutiny as a quarterback himself because he's the type of quarterback. He's excellent. He's got the skill. He's got the talent, but he needs to be plugged into an already successful system. I'm talking defense, coaching, offense, front office, everything. And we plugged him into a system that had so many wounds, and we were expecting Russ to be the Band-Aid. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. So he has had excellent games all season up until this last game. And honestly, he's probably getting checked out. He's probably running out of steam. He's probably just as frustrated as we are because when he's been playing well, nobody else has been showing up. Now all of a sudden we get a somewhat competent defense, and Russ is like, it's a mess. It's a mess. There were too many issues to begin with. It's not all on Russ, that's for sure. I really don't think so.
All right, listen, I appreciate the loyalty and the fandom. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.